This podcast is independent from my studies at Texas A&M's College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences. This is intended to share knowledge and experiences in the field of veterinary medicine and to share the importance of medicine for the pursuit of science and its positive effects on the general public. How's it going?
It's going. It's going. Kind of getting back into the swing of things for school. Cleaned my house today, which I don't know the last time that's been done. So that was nice. Like full vacuum, clean the counters, everything. Started laundry.
Not just half vacuum, full vacuum.
No, full vacuum, like swept and vacuumed. Vacuumed my room.
Nice.
Yeah, my mom would be very proud of me, I think. So, yeah,
Cool.
it's good. But getting back in the swing of things.
Yeah,
Trying to
after
not
spring
stress
break.
too much. Yeah, it's gonna be hard. Getting back into it. You get on your break and you like de-stress and you just don't do anything for like a whole week, and then you're like, yeah, okay, now I've got to start actually studying and getting back into it.
Yeah, it takes like a few days to be like, oh, we're back.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, how was
Okay.
your drive?
It wasn't bad.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know. I'm used to driving to Dallas, which is a similar distance
yeah,
from here, but it's fine until you hit downtown.
yeah,
And driving back, there's a bunch of traffic, but on the small roads. I was
yeah,
like, why? What is going on?
yeah. It's because like two cars will stop or hit their brakes, and then it just causes a backup.
Yeah, and it's
It's
like a
wild.
one lane each way for a lot of it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yep. You gotta be aggressive. I feel like I gained the aggressive driving in Houston. Like growing up in Houston, like you learned, I mean, you've got to be tough to survive. It's like Africa. And like you're like a gazelle and you're covered in lions and you just got to
mm-hmm.
fend for yourself. It's
Mm.
Houston driving in a nutshell.
Yeah, I did not learn that. I'd rather just zip around people in my small
Yeah.
car.
Yeah. Makes it easier. That's when I drove the Chrysler. It
Yeah.
was fun to drive that, but now I have a truck. It's harder to do that.
No, you're just a bigger piece of metal.
Yeah. Bigger target. Can't fit into the tight spaces.
Yeah, but then if you get hit, you're at least higher up.
Yeah. More protection for sure. Yeah.
All right.
Ready to
Introduce
get
yourself.
started? Okay.
We've been going. Oh, yeah. About 2 minutes in.
Oh, God. Okay. Alex Sansom. I am a second year vet school student. I am in your class.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I am from south of Houston, Texas, a town called Friendswood. Grew up there ever since I was young. I went to A&M for undergraduate. I was a finance major. I was at Mays Business School and did a minor in biomedical sciences. And so, yeah. Do you just want like my Aggie intro or you want anything else?
No, what else?
That was it.
Whatever else you want to add?
No, I mean I think that pretty much sums it up for a quick intro.
Yeah. I guess what got you into vet med? That's one of the questions I usually ask people.
Yeah. So I always kind of say it's like it started off I think as a kiddie dream, like everyone kind of grows up and they're like I want to be or not grows up. They're like a kid and they're like I want to be a firefighter, I want to be a police officer, I want to be a veterinarian, and I was a veterinarian kid and always fascinated with animals, trying to grab snakes in parks and always trying to go pet people's dogs when I probably shouldn't have and just run up to them, which in the hindsight was probably not smart, but I was a kid. And so it kind of like always been fascinated with animals and it never changed. I mean, I went through, high school and then went into business school and it kind of never changed. I thought we always kind of had the plan of going through, I guess, business school as a finance major and then still hoping to go to vet school. But there's a little part about me, I think, little part in me that thought maybe, I'll shy away from the veterinary path and pick something more business oriented in the business world, and it just never happened. I had classmates and friends in the business school that, would go do their externships at big corporate finance firms and they were like, man, I hate this. Like I'm getting worked like a dog. Like, it's this just not what I thought it was going to be. And then I was, shadowing at surgical hospitals and I was like, I love this. Like this is the best thing ever. This is what I want to do. So it never changed. Yeah, to make a long story short.
Okay. You said that you were always the kind of kid that wanted to be a vet.
Mm-hmm.
You think that's your reason why?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, Obviously, growing up, we had a ton of pets. We still have a ton of pets. All dogs mainly, but I think just I'm a sucker for the human animal bond. I think it's one of the more to get sappy. It's one of the more beautiful things in life, like how much a dog loves a human and how much a human can love a dog. And I guess for cat people that can be the case too, but that's just not how I'm wired. But um, yeah, it's really cool and it's fascinating to see people and how much they care about their dogs and through my own like life, just seeing how much having a dog, affects my mood and it cheers me up. Like coming home from school and sitting in lectures all day and then having a dog come greet you at the door, like it's the best thing they've ever seen. Like they're like, "Oh my God, you're back." It boosts your mood a little bit. And I think it's something that's always fascinated me. And just being able to, make sure that bond stays strong and the animals stay strong is, it's serving people as much as it is, serving animals. And I think that's one thing I like about it.
I do remember in undergrad because there was a short period where we were spent a lot of time together.
Yeah, we actually are filming in my old room.
Yeah.
I used to live in this room.
Does it feel weird to be back?
No.
Oh, I mean, it's very different
I mean,
now.
it's like that. Yeah, that part's weird. Like it's all done up nicer, and there's no.
It would be weird if you had soundproofing in your room.
Yeah, no, I wasn't that neat. I think I had a flag on my room at that point. It was probably a Patagonia flag, and then I probably had some antler mounts or some deer mounts or something.
But
So
I do remember in undergrad, whenever I took note of it too, whenever a dog was around, you got very, like, I don't know how to describe it. Uh, it like melted you down. That maybe isn't the best way to describe it,
okay,
but you got real warm. You're like, oh, it's a dog, like anybody would. But
yeah,
where everybody was just like, oh, I'm doing something else. You were always like, there's a dog.
yeah, and I think that's for sometimes has been to my demise. Like I don't think like, I mean, my friends will get me like if they're. I mean, this is a bad example, but I mean, like if I've got fries and they want some of my fries, they'll be like, "Look, a dog," and I'll fall for it every time. And
Hmm.
I know, and I've been burned by it, and it's like fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. That's been about 8 times I've been fooled by the same friend, and so it's definitely still on me. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's a sense of comfort and security to me. I think I grew up around dogs, and it just, yeah, I don't know. It just brings out the little kid in me again, I think.
Are you the type that can't go to animal shelters?
I used to. So in undergrad, I used to volunteer at Aggie Humane, and I'd just go and play with dogs for like an hour or so and get them out of their kennels and crates. And it was always hard to leave. Like I always just, you know, want to be able to, help animals and save animals. But at the end of the day, like you can only do so much. Um, and so I mean, Aggieland Humane Society is a great place, and they really do take care of their dogs. And at that point, I was at a place where I don't think I should have had a dog, and I didn't. And so, but yeah, going to animal shelters, I just want to take them all home, But I think I realized, it's not feasible to do that, and I have so much respect for the people that do, you know, run those animal shelters and do that. But it's just not. I don't know. Yeah, it's hard for me to go. It's hard for me to leave too.
How is it? How do you think you're going to be when you're an actual vet?
Oh,
And
dude, I've thought about this a lot. So my girlfriend is like I've told her many times, we're gonna probably have a lot of pets, and it's gonna be harder for me if like a really cool pet comes in, like Cotamundis. Those things have been really cool, and I've seen a lot of videos about them recently. Those things are sweet, like tortoises. I don't know, just I want to have cool animals that you know are obviously like safe to have, and it's not like super frowned upon. Like I don't want to have a monkey. Like people have that, and some people think it's good, some people think it's bad. I don't want to get into the weeds about that, but I want cool pets. So yeah, it's gonna be hard. But I mean, someone said to me once, and it was in preparation for I think a vet school interview that like you can't take every animal that needs help. You can help them to the best you can, but at the end of the day, you have to pay your bills. You have to keep your lights on at the clinic to save more animals. And so if you just constantly take in every animal that needs to be taken in, it's not feasible in the long run. You're going to end up, running out of money. You're going to run your business into the ground, and you're not going to be able to save more animals in the long run than you would have, if you were to not take them.
Yeah, I'm I fall more on the other end where I can logically separate out the animal needing like assistance and
Mhm.
me being unable to take in every animal.
Yeah.
So like that I know that isn't a feasible thing for me to do. That's why I right now don't have any animals.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know that there are dogs that need help, but I cannot do it right now. So,
Right. I think
um,
it takes a big person to do that too, because I think a lot of people will, get dogs because they want dogs, and then they can't end up taking care of them, or they don't really know how much goes into it that is required, especially for a lot of the working breeds. I mean, and
mhm.
they just end up, tearing the house apart because they're bored, and it's just like you should have been, running your dog or something. But I mean, to each its own. Everyone, does their own thing, and you know, I don't know.
There was one time where there was a cat that came into the first clinic I worked at, and it was a little kitten. I couldn't tell you how old it was, but um, it was alone. Someone, the shelter found it, brought it to us,
Mhm.
and had ringworm. And so you couldn't like you had to be careful. Obviously, wear gloves when handling
Mhm.
anything that cat was around. And
Yeah.
it was only there for a day, and I don't know. It was the only situation where I was like, could I help treat this cat and then take it home? Because it didn't have an owner,
Yeah.
and it seemed super sweet,
Yeah.
and it just wanted to be around people, but no one could like be around it
Yeah.
except like to do what was necessary
Yeah.
with certain PPE.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I was like, aw, I could see it happening.
Well, that's another thing. I mean, I think cats, generally speaking, I feel like require a lot more or less, a lot less, you know, care. Like
Yeah.
if you're someone that's not going to be home a lot, don't get a dog, get a cat, and I think cats like are happy to see people leave sometimes because they like, I mean, they're solitary animals. They like being on their own. They're not, pack animals, so to speak, like dogs are. And so, cats I think enjoy their alone time and being able to do whatever they want to do. And so that's where I think are funny and I guess in comparison to dogs is that they're like more happy I think sometimes by themselves
Oh
than they
yeah.
are like than dogs are.
Yeah. There are those few cats that I've met that are always described as like dogs, which is
Yeah.
funny, where they just want to be around people.
Yeah.
But no, cats are definitely more isolated than dogs. Um, so you mentioned finance major. That
Yes.
might be a shock to some people.
Yes. Yeah.
For me, no, I know you.
Yeah, I
But
know.
explain.
Yeah, so I kind of talked a little bit about it earlier, I think. It was just kind of my parents and I when I was in high school, we talked a lot about it and it was something that I think it kind of had two reasons. One reason was, I kind of was unsure about if I wanted to do vet med or if I was even able to do it, because it is so competitive. But another reason well, sorry, back to that. And so, like, my thought was, if I go and I get, like, an animal sciences degree, like, I'm kind of stuck in that animal sciences realm. And if I change my mind, and I don't wanna do that, there's not a lot I can pivot into. Obviously, there's still some stuff and you can, do a lot with an animal sciences degree, but I was more concerned about, you know I didn't wanna be stuck. And I felt like going with the finance route, it was something that was still feasible to do to get into vet school. Obviously, it was. But I felt like if I was, to change my mind on vet school, and you can do a lot of different jobs with a finance degree, just a general finance degree. And so that was kind of my reasoning for one of, I guess, the aspects. The other one was I had a great mentor for veterinary medicine growing up, and she was one of the most impressive women. She was a practice owner and she was an absolute bad mamma jamma. Like she was so tough as nails, a great businesswoman, and like was honestly someone that I would like to model, my vet med career after. And she, taught me that she told me one day, like a lot of veterinarians, they get into the industry, they want to open up their own practice, but they have no idea how to run a business. They have no idea what it's like to manage the books. And they end up just having to pay someone a lot of money to do it, which I mean is a lot of people are doing now. And so I think it's becoming more popular. But back then it was, you know, kind of do it yourself and figure it out. And a lot of people would end up running their practices into the ground and not, knowing how to run it like a business. And instead they were, taking in as many dogs as they could, or they weren't, managing their staff properly, or any, I don't know, there's probably a lot of examples. But and so I think that was one of the main reasons, was that I wanted to get a business mindset, because I would like to own my own practice one day. And so, um, just getting that business mindset and that background, so I do know, how to run a business. If I do end up, hiring someone to take care of the books, I have an idea of what's going on. And I'm not just like completely putting blind trust into them and just being like, oh, go ahead and do all my books, and I won't look at it. And so I think that was one of the reasons. Another reason is too, like, I want to be able to do, investments on the side, like real estate, or some commercial real estate, or, residential real estate, stocks, other kinds of things like that, just to diversify my so-called portfolio, as the adults say. Um, so I think that was kind of, yeah, just the general reasons. I ended up having to take a lot of extra courses. I think I graduated with like 160 something
Hmm.
hours, maybe, which I think is a lot more than you're required to.
And you got I think it's like 140 around there that for
Yeah,
a major, and
yeah.
then I couldn't tell you what a minor alone
Yeah, a
is.
minor. So I minored in BIMS, and so the main reason I did BIMS was because a lot of the prerequisites for veterinary school were included and counted for the BIMS minor track, and so that's where a lot of my extra courses came from, was having to do those extra, courses like animal nutrition or organic chemistry. So I mean, I was taking corporate accounting when I was taking organic chemistry one, and so like that was a crazy, like, flip of the switch. Like, it was crazy, because I like always said, I like, when I was in it, I was saying I'm using both sides of my brain. Like, I was using my math brain and my science brain, and so it was just, I don't know, it was different. It was a really cool experience, and I'm definitely grateful I did it, and I don't think I would change anything. I think it put me where I am today, and I think I like where I am. So
Looking for, you said that you wanted to open up your own practice.
mhm.
Do you know someone who did that? That mentor of yours, did she do that?
Yeah, so she did. She started off. I believe she was, kind of working under someone at the same, or like at when she first started out of veterinary school, and then took a leap of faith, and built her own practice on a new piece of land, and started building her clientele base. And I mean, she, like I said, she is a bad A, like, she's bad mamma jamma, like, she's a stud, and she does it all. I mean, she works the floor every day. I mean, she goes into rooms, she does surgeries, she also runs the business, and so she is definitely someone that I respect and hold in a high regard as like a mentor. But yeah, she did it all on her own, and I mean, she had a kid in vet school. Um, she was going to class with her kid, I mean, and still doing it. And so she was kicking butt. She would run like triathlons. I mean, she's incredibly athletic, and just like I have to take some of her advice. And like, if she ever tells me like things she did in the past, I'm like, I have to kind of take it with a grain of salt, because she's not like normal people.
Hmm.
She's just she's insane in a good way. And I just don't think I'm driven the way she was driven. And so, yeah, but she's cool.
Do you
She's
think you want to
awesome.
go back and work for her?
I don't think so, and it's not because they did anything wrong. I think it's more of my hometown. Like, I grew up in my home. Obviously, I grew up in my hometown, but I think I've experienced all that Friendswood has to offer, and I enjoyed my time there, and I think it was great, and it made me who I am today. But I think as I've gotten older, I found interests more in like being outside, being outdoors, and kind of living on the outskirts of town. And so my girlfriend is from outskirts of Waco, and so I really like that area, and I think that's kind of where I'll want to end up, just because it kind of sets me up for the life I want to live, like hunting, fishing, and doing all those kinds of fun things that I enjoy doing. Um, can't really do that in Friendswood, Texas. So
Yeah, is that more city, suburban?
yeah, yeah, very much so. Big suburban area outside of Houston. And yeah, it's growing. It's getting so big so fast, and it is just not. It's not the same place I grew up in, which is another part of the reason. Um, but yeah, a lot of people.
Yeah, that's how my hometown is in Louisville.
Yeah,
It just, I remember growing up, like memories was like, oh, this used to be a forest. Now it's a
yeah.
neighborhood.
Oh, it's exactly, yeah. I mean, they're tearing down forests. I mean, there was used to be I mean, it was like one like piece of hunting land that a friend of a friend I knew had, and I mean now it's all torn down and it's put into neighborhoods, and it's like it's crazy. So it's crazy how much like just a year, like if you don't go back home throughout the school year, I mean, it can change so much, and it's impressive, crazy, and scary.
So, looking forward, what kind of medicine do you want to do?
Okay, so I go back and forth. So I go back between small animal surgical, like orthopedics and soft tissue, and I go from that to owning my own mixed practice, mixed animal practice in the Waco area. Um, and currently, I think I'm more set on the mixed practice. I've really recently gotten involved a lot with darting and immobilizing wild game, excuse me, through a research project with one of my professors, Dr. Cook. And I found, a whole new side of vet med I didn't even know existed. And it's super interesting to me, growing up as a kid that hunted and fished and got to be outside. Like, this is so cool to me, and being able to put hands on these animals and, treat them for their illnesses or whatever injuries they have. And then, letting them go and seeing them run off healthy. Like, it's so cool. And I think owning my own like mixed practice would be something that would allow me to do that and have more flexibility to do that, because it isn't something that is super lucrative in that like you can't, I mean, you don't make as much money per appointment as you do like when you're working with dogs and cats. And so it wouldn't be something that like I would do solely to keep the business open. It would be more something that I do because I enjoy doing it. Um, and then just see, other appointments kind of to keep the place open, which I enjoy obviously, but it's not like my passion like um, you know, darting and stuff is, I guess.
Yeah, the whole wild game world, I've slowly been introduced to it, but I don't
Yeah.
know very much about it. And there's like a small subgroup of guys in our class and in other
Mhm.
classes, but I'm mostly exposed to y'all who
Yeah.
just talk about hunting, fishing, and immobilizing animals.
Yeah.
And for people who don't know what that means, like it's just darting
Yeah,
and
so a tranquilizer gun, or it's like CO2 powered, and so you can set it to a certain pressure, and then based on the yardage, you set it to a certain pressure and you shoot them, and it's got a dart that has a charge that fires when it makes contact, and it injects, some type of sedative or anesthetic, not anesthetic, sedative or muscle relaxer, or some type of tranquilizer that will set in and, you know, makes the animal go to sleep.
yeah, because they don't like people.
No, no, and I did not realize that how much, especially axis deer. God, they are so smart and intelligent, and I mean they come from places where they'd have to run away from tigers. So I mean they're insane, they're crazy. Um, I mean we tried to trap some we tried to dart some in a 2 acre pen, and I mean you'd chase them around 4 times around the pen before you'd even get a shot off. And so they are so smart, intelligent, and fearful of humans, which is what makes them so impressive, in my opinion. I've just gained a whole new respect for them. But yeah, I don't remember your original
No,
question
I
or
mean,
what
I
I
don't
was
even think I
saying.
asked a question.
Okay.
Um, but no, I remember I went to South Africa. It had to be 3 years ago now.
Yeah, because you went undergrad.
Yeah, that was a while ago. Um, and I thought it was the first time I was exposed to wild game medicine, and not only was it a weird form of medicine for me, but it was in a completely different country
Mm-hmm.
with species I
Yeah,
were not familiar with.
yeah.
And
Once of a lifetime experience.
oh yeah,
Super cool.
oh yeah,
I'm jealous, but
you should go.
it's too late.
Oh,
It's too late. But anyways, keep going.
the when I was there, I thought, well, I have some experience learning about how to like work cattle. I don't have that much hands-on experience of it, but
Mm-hmm.
at like the agriculture world within the US at
Yeah.
least, uh I was like, "Oh, they're large animals. These are also large animals. Some
Mm-hmm.
of them are no I mean, they're not any bigger than a cow is."
Right.
So, I was like, "Why couldn't you just use shoots and stuff like?" And but it's just their minds are very different. And
They
so
are. Yeah.
you can only do the immobilizing thing.
Yeah. It was your
And
only option.
yeah, but Wait, why isn't is it because of the last summer? That's why you can't go to South Africa?
Yeah, it's our last summer.
Oh,
And I'm doing the VMSRTP program, VMSRTP with you,
yes.
because it's not VMSRTP program
The P
because the
stands.
P stands for program,
Yes.
and I don't want to sound like a fool.
Yeah. It's not an ATM machine.
No, it's not
Mm-mm.
correct.
But you're doing that with Dr. Cook.
Yes, Dr. Walter Cook.
Full name.
Yeah, government name. I don't know his middle name, but if I did, I'd throw it in there.
Okay.
But yeah,
Can you say what you're doing?
yeah, I think. So we're working closely with a pharmaceutical company. I won't drop names, but pharmaceutical company up in Wyoming. And they're coming up with a new drug formulation that is similar to what is called BAM. BAM is a drug that's commonly used for darting and immobilizing. It's a combination of butorphanol, azaparone, and medetomidine. And so it's a combination of opioids and alpha 2 agonists, so sedatives and muscle relaxers, and some pain relief as well with the opioids. And so they're basically coming up with a new combination of that where they are changing, how the ratio, I guess, so to speak, of the drugs that are used in it. And so it is essentially more potent than BAM. And so we're having to give, less drug introduced into their system, which therefore helps with recovery and less side effects and less complications. And so we've gone out to a place, I think it's west of Uvalde, Texas, um, and a landowner who's been amazing. He's been so kind and has let us do a lot of our research out there on his axis herd, as well as other animals. So we think we darted 18 total axis deer between 2 weekends. We did 7 or 8 water buffalo, which were super cool. And then we did 2 Arabian oryxes, which those are really cool animals. They are protected under CITES, which you might have to check me on this and if I say it wrong, but I think it's like the Commission of International Trade of Endangered Species. But basically, they're on the endangered species list and they're super regulated. So you have to have a lot of permits and paperwork to even transport them or move them, or in some cases, hunt them. Some places have established populations of them. And so we got to put hands on those animals, and that was awesome. Once in a lifetime opportunity. Don't know when I'll ever get to do that again. And so the landowner, I mean, was awesome and was working side by side with us the entire time, and it was awesome. And so I work with Dr. Cook as well as Dr. Chase Nunez. He is very established in the like exotics and wildlife immobilization world. He is a private wildlife biologist that works around Uvalde and Seguin, um, and so knowledgeable. Him and Dr. Cook both have been amazing at teaching me all the things I need to know and answering any questions I have, whether they're stupid questions or actually useful ones. Most of the time, they're probably stupid, but yeah, they've been great. So doing that, researching, studying, we're taking data like time of the injection, where it was injected or administered. Obviously, they're intramuscular injections because they are with the dart.
Ideally.
Ideally, yeah, hopefully. And so taking like time of injection, time of first effects, so like at first clinical signs that we see of sedation, so like ataxia or uncoordinated movement. Sometimes they get like the 1,000-mile stare or whatever. They just stare off into space and they just kind of stop moving and just stare. That's a sign. Time of first recumbency, which is like when they go down first, and then time of first approach. And so then we'll also do time of reversal. We'll do time of head control when they can first like hold their head up, time of standing, time of walking. And then throughout that, we're taking vitals like TPR, muscle tone, mucous membrane colors, and CRT. So just a lot of data to assess the quality of immobilization and anesthesia or sedation. I always do that, and it's gonna bite me in the butt one day, and it's gonna make me sound stupid in front of the wrong person. But it's sedation. It's not anesthesia. Um, and so yeah, it's been really fun. I've really enjoyed it. So we've collected, I think, most of our data at this point, and now it's just going to be mostly combining it into a publishable form. to get it published, hopefully.
And you guys took a lot of data while they were under, but did you perform any like procedures that would, re- I guess, test the extent of their depth? Because when you immobilize an animal, you're usually doing something that the
Right. So legally speaking, I mean, in Texas, you have to have a veterinarian A prescribe you the drugs, and then B, like, there has to be a medical reason you are darting or immobilizing these animals. And so our reasons is we were doing anthrax vaccinations. Um, in Uvalde, especially, there it's what's called the anthrax triangle. I'm not sure the exact cities that make up the anthrax triangle, but it is like kind of central west, southwest Texas. Um, has historically had outbreaks of anthrax, and so it's always a concern for landowners, especially ones that have wild game like exotics that are susceptible. And so we were doing anthrax vaccinations as well as like some would, have cuts or bruises, or not bruises, but cuts or wounds that we would, heal or suture, trim up and clip. And we would give them some pain meds and antibiotics and make sure, they were okay since we already had them under. But main reason was to give the anthrax vaccinations.
mm,
So the landowner was kind enough to let us come out and do that and study on his herd and vaccinate them in the process. So it was good.
hmm. For my own curiosity,
Yeah.
the you said that in order to immobilize an animal, you legally have to have a medical reason,
Yeah.
but you're trying to conduct research on the immobilization itself.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that there's ever a point that the medical procedure that you're performing under the sedation will interfere with that study?
I think to an extent, like for the super invasive procedures, like I think, I mean, if we were gonna do something like a neuter, I mean, I think even neuters or not neuters because it'd be castrations, but if you were to do like castrations, I think typically what we've also done in the past, Watusi bulls. So we've darted Watusi cattle. They got big, huge horns, and they just go out like that. We've darted Watusi bulls and castrated them while they were under the sedation from the dart, and it worked. I mean, wonderfully, and didn't have any issues there. And honestly, it's probably a lot nicer than most castrations that you'll see. Um, they were nice and asleep for it. Most times they are not. So,
For like agriculture
yeah,
purposes?
just like any like beef producer, I mean, is gonna probably just run them through the chute and do what they need to do and
Mm-hmm.
not give them any type of pain meds or sedation or anything like that. Um, and so, but yeah, no. So like we've done some pretty invasive procedures like castrations under just the sedative alone. But I do feel like if you were gonna do anything more than that, you would need some type of anesthesia like ISO or something like that.
Some kind of inhalant.
Some kind of inhalant to keep them under just for safety purposes. I think it would be better to be proactive than reactive and have to give, more drugs or they start waking up when you're, inside their abdomen or whatnot. But I also
Yeah.
don't really know how common it is to do those types of procedures on it,
It's got to be
exotic game and wildlife.
it's got to be pretty rare. And under right conditions, I feel
Yeah.
like zoos could
Yeah,
handle
zoos
something
for
like
sure.
that. But when I was in South Africa, we did some spays
Mhm.
on lions.
Yeah, y'all did the yeah.
Yes. It was a while ago. And I don't want to say tiger, and it was actually a lion.
I think it was a
Um,
lion cuz Trevor told me he
yes.
got to
Well,
close.
oh, that was cool. Back when I was an undergrad,
Oh,
I
you
just
didn't go with Trevor.
that
Never
was
mind.
a
Yeah.
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 Um, yeah, a group of us, I guess a group of the other guys in our class went this past summer, which is pretty cool. But when I went, we did something similar. We did some spays and I guess IUD
Mhm.
placements,
Yeah. That's really cool.
for like uh, birth control, you would
Yeah.
say, and for the lions.
Yep.
My goodness.
Yep.
Anyways, we did that under sedation. Like they didn't intubate, and they had to get into the abdominal cavity in order to do
Wow.
the spay. Now, granted, doing a spay compared to an abdominal exploratory is very different.
Yeah.
Um, it's they had a relatively uh good understanding of what was going to go down. Now,
Yeah.
it can go wrong.
Yeah.
Any veterinarian knows stories of
Yeah.
things when things go wrong. But for that, it was just under sedation. Like
Yeah.
the animals were not intubated. There was no inhalant, and you just had to work fast enough to make sure that they didn't wake up, because having a hole in the abdomen would not be good
No.
for an animal
No,
walking
it's
around.
less than ideal.
But the doctors doing the procedure, I guess overlooking the procedure at the time, the vet students were really hands on. I was not a vet student, so I
Yeah,
wasn't.
you were undergrad at the time.
Yeah. Um, but no, they were very calm, and because they've done this a number of times.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think outside of a zoo, I can't imagine it happens very often.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and say my knowledge on this matter is very limited, probably to the only times I've been out there with Dr. Cook. So I am by no means even close to being an expert on this. So,
That's a
um,
good that's a good save your ass kind of statement.
yeah, exactly.
I
I'll
would
just say
also
that
say
now.
I am
Yeah,
not an expert.
do not take anything that I say and run with it and be like, well, Alex Sansom said so, so I'm going to do it. Don't do that, please, because I wouldn't. Um, But no, I mean, I definitely think, yeah, under sedation is definitely more under a time crunch, and you can sedate them for a long time. I mean, we had to transport one of the Arabian oryxes. I mean, across I mean, it was a 1,600-acre place, and we had to transport the Arabian oryx. I mean, dang near all the way corner to corner, and he's sleeping sawing logs. I mean, he snored like my dad. He snored like my dad, and it was, I mean, it was impressive. He was still pretty deep under. So yeah, I'd imagine, you know, under super invasive surgeries that probably take a while. You're probably going to need to intubate. But I feel like unless you're at a zoo, you're probably not going to see that in just the normal, day-to-day operations of a wildlife biologist or a wildlife vet.
You're doing research in
Yeah.
wildlife stuff. You have an interest in it. But I remember in undergrad when I first met you a long time ago, back when we were both playing lacrosse.
Yeah.
Um, you were very much set on doing surgery,
Yeah.
and you've kind of spoken a little bit about it.
Yeah.
What brought that into your mindset?
Surgery?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I worked at a surgical hospital for 2 summers. It now is MedVet owned. When I first started, they were independent. I worked for 2 doctors under there, and it was awesome. And I had a blast. I saw a lot of super cool cases, and got to sit in on a couple really cool surgeries. And they were super, welcoming and taught me a lot about it. And I got to see a whole new side, like of vet med, that I didn't even think was a thing, and I had no idea it existed when I was younger. And the doctor that I worked under, he was a very avid outdoorsman, and he had a lot of flexibility in his schedule. And I think that was one of the things that appealed to me a lot, was that, you know, you can still do all these really cool things, and then you can still go and, do the things that you want to do outside of vet med. Um, and he did a lot of cool stuff. Um, and yeah, I mean, it just was like he was essentially kind of living the life I wanted to live at that time, and it was something that, like, I was like, oh, well, this is what I want to do. I can think kind of like when you're in the heat of the moment, and when you're there, you're like, yeah, this is what I want to do, for sure. But then, when you take some steps back, you it can still, be in your mind, but you also see other stuff, and you're like, okay, well, I also kind of want to do this, and then you kind of weigh your options.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's been like my biggest thing, like going through vet med, was seeing all these different opportunities. And I mean, I'm like, I wish I could do all of it except for horses, not horses. Um,
Love the horse vets out there,
I
but
appreciate that there are horse vets out there, because it is not me. Um, and and so, like, you see all these things and you're like, I would like to do all of these things, and then you're like, but you really kind of can't. Um, and so, that's where it kind of becomes tricky. So I'm hoping we'll get a little bit of clarity on what I want to do, more so when I get into that 4th year rotation and get to go through all the different hospital departments. So yeah.
yeah, I have the same mindset. I would like to do some kind of like after graduation residency
Yeah.
internship thing um, before going out in practice, and I can't like pinpoint one specifically right now and be
Yeah.
like, this is absolutely what I'm going to do.
Yeah. How did your
And
interest start for surgical medicine?
I They didn't really begin until, I guess, s- I wouldn't say that I'm like particularly interested in surgery and doing a surgery residency because
Mhm.
they seem really hard.
Yeah.
All residencies seem very difficult to
Yeah.
do, and I say seem because I've never done it.
Mhm.
Um, but I've heard from people not in the surgery world be like, yes, surgery residency is particularly very difficult because you are not only working all day, you're on call all night, and you
Mhm.
got to be studying for boards and do that for many years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, if people in the clinician residency world are like pinpointing surgery residency as a particularly difficult one to get through, I'm like, do I really like surgery that much?
Right, exactly.
And it was never like, yes, this is something I want to do and something I've always wanted to do forever. So where I am at now, we're taking surgery class
Yeah.
right now. We're
A lot
about
of fun.
halfway through. Yes, I mean, I have a blast
I
whenever
do
we're in
too.
there. And the in my opinion, going into a surgery, like they'll be like, okay, we're doing gastrotomy this week or splenectomy or something like that. And they're like, okay, read it up on your own and come in prepared the next morning for surgery.
Mhm.
And I'm always like, I read the book and I'm like, this is not like conceptually, it is not that complicated.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, but what about this? It's like, okay, which suture particular am I going to be using in
Mhm.
this portion of the procedure? Or um, exactly how am I going to be holding instruments in order to perform this move? And it doesn't like line up all of it when reading the book exactly.
Mhm.
So you have to kind of go down your own rabbit holes.
Yeah.
And so at first I'm like, oh, this is like what, we're taking the spleen out. Like,
Yeah.
we're fine. Like, that'll be
Easy.
okay. And then I'm like, oh wait, no, it's not that easy. And then actually doing it, we have what, 2 hours in there,
Yeah.
and about half an hour we need to actually clean up, and we don't exactly get going on the actual procedure until half an hour in, so we really only have an hour, and that hour goes by really fast.
Yeah, it does.
And so out like out of all of that somewhat complicated learning, I'm like, oh, I'm still having fun. So
Mhm. Yeah.
now I'm like, I really can't leave it off the table, but again, in the back of my mind, I'm like, that's scary
Yeah.
to go through that kind of
Like a
training.
rigorous training process.
It's also very competitive, I've heard,
Yeah.
and one of the more competitive residencies because
Mhm.
a lot of people want to do it. It's like all specialties are needed. That one's um, the need is very inherent within the field, or anybody outside the field can be like, oh yeah, like surgery is a thing for that is used in very many applications. So of course we need a lot of surgeons out there in the
Yeah.
world. um, but that being said, like cardiology has also been on my mind, and
Mm.
there are not that many cardiologists, at
No.
least in the area
Oh,
I'm.
sorry.
You're good. In the area I grew up in, I
Mhm.
think I went back and did an externship last summer. Well, I know I did the externship, but I think they said that there was only one cardiologist in the um, major metroplex that we
Mhm.
were in,
Yeah.
and I was like, just one? And they're like, yeah, and he's booked all the time.
I
So
bet.
I was like, he's like, the client base is there, and I'm like, and cardiology is very interesting.
It is. It is, and I'm not good at it. I don't feel like we had our ECG like lectures in OD the other day, and I was just like, I don't remember any of this.
They told us that too. I felt the same way, and I remember in physiology semester 1, we had a lab over it, and they're like, I remember going through the ECG printout, measuring things, being like, "Oh yes, this is the
Yeah, at one
certain
point, yeah.
arrhythmia." They're like, "Hey, don't forget this because a lot of you will, and it'll come back." And then it
Me.
came back. I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people that just
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. It's just gonna be like having to see a lot of them. I think that's like, and it's kind of like if you don't use it, you lose it in vet school. And so I feel like a lot of the times, like I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember learning this at one point, and then it's like, but I couldn't tell you what it was. And so I feel like being surrounded by it every day in practice is going to be very helpful.
Well, I heard something before going into vet school that kind of scared me at the time because I didn't know how to feel about it. One of the vets I worked for said that she relearned about 85% of what she learned in vet school after getting out in practice,
Mm,
and like had to go back and be like, okay, exactly how does this work again? And it's not that vet school doesn't prepare you properly. It's just like, here's almost like, it's something that, how am I going to say this? Here's all of the stuff that you need for the average situation in the vet clinic.
mm-hmm.
Granted, there are very complicated cases that you would need to send to a specialist as a
Specialist.
general practitioner and be like, I cannot. Most often is like, I don't have the equipment to handle this
Yeah.
because not every practice has the equipment to handle the most complex cases. And, but that's not what you see every day. And it just scared me that it was like a majority of the stuff that I'm going to be learning through very difficult schooling for 4 years, I'm going to have to relearn. It's like, what does that mean? It's like, and now I'm like, okay, I kind of understand. And it's not as if you get out into practice and you're like, 85% I've just forgotten.
Yeah.
It's there. You just got to go dig it out again.
Right, exactly. And it's like you're like, "Oh, I know this does something, like with the liver, but I can't remember exactly what it does." And then you just go back in your notes or even look it up and you find it. And so like you kind of have like an idea of what it does or what it is, just I mean there could be any examples, but and then you're just like you have your idea and then you're like, "Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking." And, you just look it up and you're fine. I think a lot of things like especially in undergrad I thought this like I think a lot of people like to oversell and kind of exaggerate their experiences. And so like for like organic chemistry, for example, like even I do it. Like when I talk about organic chemistry, I'm like, that was the hardest class ever. Like I hated that class and yada yada. And I build it up to be some huge beast. But like whenever I was in it, it was not that bad. And same with vet school. I think a lot of this is a I could get I don't want to say in trouble, but I might hurt some feelings saying this. I think a lot of the older veterinarians now are building vet school up to be this huge, scary thing, and they are making it like, oh, you're never going to get a chance to get in. Like, there is some specific person that we were talking about kind of the other day that was like, oh, like, you know, it was in a class and they were like, raise your hand, if you want to go to vet school. And then he was like,
Mm.
oh, only two of you are going to get it. And like their entire class would raise their hand.
And
And
that's just not one person. That I've heard stories of people like at different undergrads, different
mhm,
universities. Like, oh yeah, we had a professor who do the same thing.
yeah. And so it's like they build it up into to be this huge, scary, and seemingly impossible thing. But then, like, yeah, you don't get in your first try. You build on that. You take your hit and you keep going and you improve the sections of the application you were weak in. And then you apply next year and you will probably, maybe not, sometimes get in. And, and if you don't, you keep going and you don't give up. But yes, it's hard. It's no one's ever said it's easy. Um, it is hard and it is challenging, but it is so worth it. And it is something that you are more than capable probably of doing. And I probably should have taken out that probably. But you are more than capable of doing. There are more vet schools now that are being made. It is something that if you stick to it and you are determined to do, it is something you will be able to do. And I think a lot of the older vets, and I think it's a culture that we should kind of maybe shy away from. I don't know. But it's like telling people you can't do it, you can't do it. Like you got to have this, you got to have this, you got to have 10,000 hours, you got to have, a 4.0 GPA. I did not. I had a 3.45 and I got in and I was a finance major. And so like you can do it. Don't listen to the people that tell you you can't. And it's not as bad as people make it seem. And I don't know, I don't know if you got an email about it, but the Pre-Vet Society is having like a Q&A vet school student
Oh yeah,
panel.
again,
Okay.
I don't know if I got that email or not,
Okay.
but yeah, we can go into that in a little bit. But
Oh,
the
okay.
like that in general, because that was an org that we were both in
Yeah.
undergrad.
Yeah. But
But
they're having a panel, and like that's always been my biggest thing to say is like, you can do it. It's not as scary as they make it sound. You're gonna have a social life outside of vet school, and you're gonna have fun, and you're gonna be okay. Like, I don't know. I feel like I could have used, you know, someone who told me that when I was an undergrad.
well, I feel like I've heard a number of stories where people are attempting to get into vet school or are working their way up to get to a point where they can apply, um, such as like the early stages of undergrad. You can't
Mhm.
necessarily apply. You're still working on your prerequisite courses, and you're essentially just trying to build your resume up
Mhm.
to the point where when you do apply, they don't say no. And in those early stages, they come across either a veterinarian or a practice manager or someone in the vet field who goes, "Don't do it," or
Yes. Yeah.
you like you need these things or you will not succeed.
Yeah.
And that is a mindset that I don't particularly enjoy. Now, I think it's rooted in a lot of personal things sometimes.
Mhm.
Um, I don't have one of those stories exactly.
We just play footsies. We did.
Oh.
Sorry.
the I think that discouraging people from the field is a bad idea. And while there are, I think, holes that people fall into when building up their career that discourages them from pursuing what they started, it
Mhm.
then leaches out into the people around them,
Mhm.
and which is unfortunate because there's a lot of financial strain that comes outside of vet school. I think
Yeah.
we're really lucky with A&M.
Yeah.
This is not me just gloating about the university that I'm at right now, but the
Hey, whoop.
the A&M is very affordable
Yeah.
compared to other vet schools. And that's not to say that the ones that charge a lot of money are less than because of that,
Right.
because there's a number of reasons why the economics are the way they are. Location, I think, is one of the major factors.
Mhm.
And it was something that I thought about a lot when choosing a vet school, and because I knew the stories that people veterinarians coming out of vet school and having a lot of financial debt, and
Yeah.
then decades later still having that financial debt, and it's a strain on them, and it eventually uh, starts to come out in their mindset and attitude and their culture around the practice. And it's I think that isn't necessarily unique to the vet field. I think that financial stress is something that shows up in a lot of ways
Mhm.
in
Yeah.
different fields. So that was something that I thought about a lot in undergrad, and a mindset that I want to try and prevent, at least in the practices that I work in.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important. Like, the future of vet med is so important. Like, I mean, especially now, like, we need vets. And if you're gonna, tell them don't do it, you're gonna scare them away. And we need more vets. And it should be. I mean, I think A&M's vet school does an amazing job of it. Like, we are all in this together. High School Musical. Um, we're all in this together.
You don't want to sing the song?
I almost did there. And like we should all be a team and we should all like I don't know, help each other and vet med is an awesome industry and like what other industry are you able to like I don't know, play with animals all day. I know it's it's not really what we do, but I mean, like yeah, it's such a cool industry and I think we should be encouraging people to join it instead of, scaring them away. I don't know. This is my thoughts. I'll get off my soapbox.
All good. I mean, that's kind of what this is a lot of soapboxes.
And while we're on the topic of soapbox, no, I'm just kidding.
the the idea of having like the perfect grades, I've
Mm-hmm.
kind of throughout my time in undergrad, I've gone back and forth because I came from in high school not really worrying about grades.
Yeah.
And then in undergrad, slowly built my way into now I need to think about grades. And I was never perfect at it, but I did my very best. And a lot of people have the mindset of that, you don't need the 4.0, which is true. And it, I see a lot of stress around it
Mm-hmm.
when grades are low. And I know personal friends that they that it's just in the back of their mind. And I know that they're smart.
Mhm.
And I know that you brought up your GPA. I know
Yeah.
you're smart and you got in.
Yeah.
And I I think my advice is that there's kind of like two situations, or I guess three. One is you are at a point where you're about to apply, or you're in the middle of applying and you have great grades and you don't really need to worry about grades. Like, okay, cool. Move aside.
Mhm.
The people who are at that point and don't have good grades, it's like now you need to think about every other aspect of your application
Right.
and, you know, make sure that that's one of, if not the only reason that they could say no.
Right, and that was my whole thing. Was like I wanted to build up every other aspect of my application to where the only reason they could tell me no was because of my grades.
Hmm.
But sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're good. And the third category is the people who are going into undergrad, like they maybe haven't even started, or they're in like the early stages of undergrad and they still have a lot of room to grow in their grades. And my best recommendation is like quote unquote suffer now so you don't have to have the anxiety later. Because even I didn't have the world's best grades, but they were not bad. I was still stressed about it because I was like, it's
Mhm.
still something there. Like
Yeah.
they could still point it out and be like, it wasn't as good as this other person.
Mhm.
So like there's a lot of stress in the end. And I really think that
You're talking about undergrad grades, right?
yes,
Okay.
in undergrad, like if put in the time then and go through that stress then if you already know that you want to go to vet school. Because I've seen too many people just get stressed about it afterwards.
Mhm.
And, they could have very much easily done well all throughout undergrad and they just didn't think about it.
Yeah. I was kind of on the opposite end of that. I was my first 2 years probably, I was not really caring about grades. And so I think that's why my GPA was so low was from those first 2 years of undergrad. And I do think though that the last 45 hours of your GPA matters a lot. And so I think that's in the application process. They'll like ask you for your overall GPA and then they'll ask you for your last 45 hours of GPA. And I think the last 45, I think plays an equal, if not more, of a weight, plays more of a role in your application because I think they want to see, like, I think they understand, like, yeah, you're young when you come into college, when you're into undergrad. You don't know exactly how you got to study. It's an adjustment period. Like, you could like totally tank and your GPA would be bad. But, as you go and you age and mature and figure out how you should study as you go through undergrad, that is more representative of who you're going to be as a vet school student, not, your first 2 years or your first semester when all you did was party because it was your first time away from home and whatever. I don't know. Some people do that. I did not. But, um, so it just, I mean, it's okay, to have bad grades at some point, but it's just, like I said earlier, if you don't get in, like, take your hit, figure out how you can recover and recover.
Yeah. So this pre-vet society thing.
Ah, yes. Old PVS.
Yeah.
Yes. What about
Do
it,
you want
Tyler?
to, well, for people who don't know what that is, do you want to explain it?
What Pre-Vet Society is?
Mm-hmm.
So it is an organization that is put on by undergraduates at A&M who are interested in pursuing a career in veterinary medicine. Um, it is, I would argue, one of, if not the largest pre-vet society programs in the entire nation.
Yeah. I
I
don't
don't
know
know if
how we
we
can verify
ever
that.
verified that at all, but I feel like we got a pretty good shot. Um, and so basically, it's just focused on, introducing people to the different aspects of veterinary medicine. They bring in speakers each week from different parts. Like we'll bring in, an exotic specialist, we'll bring in surgical specialist, and then, a pharmacist from the vet school. Like just random things like that, just to show you all the different possibilities of veterinary medicine. There's also opportunities to gain shadowing experience. There's workshops to like build skills. What else am I missing? There's a mentor mentee program, which I personally really enjoy. Um, I still talk to my mentor from when I was an undergrad. He's now working at a vet clinic. And I still talk to him, and then I have my own mentee now. So it's pretty cool. Um, but yeah, Pre-Vet Society did a lot for me in undergrad, and great program.
Good spokesman for it.
Yeah.
Well, you were the president, which you hate when I bring that up.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I was. I was. I was the president. I really enjoyed it. I just like, I don't know, I like mentoring, and I like being, someone who can help people along their journeys. And, you know, I don't know.
Well, it's a good mindset to have. I
Yeah.
think that looking out towards others and thinking what you can do for them is something that can sometimes be lost, especially when in the chaos of vet school or any kind of difficult thing in life.
Yeah.
Um, I know a lot of times I can solely think about grades and what test is coming up next and not, it's like, how is everyone doing? Like,
Yeah.
did I reach out to this person?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's why I think like when we were in pre-vet society, like I mean there is such that stressor of grades, and so we implemented cohorts our year. And that was basically small social groups within the club that we would just go get dinner, we would go play spike ball, we would just do random things to get our mind off school, and that was something we implemented when I was president. And I think it did a lot, and I think it really helped grow the relationships in pre-vet society. And I don't know, I really enjoyed it. And I think based on feedback and that it's still going, I think members enjoyed it too. Tyler also was an officer for 2 years. He doesn't want to talk about it. Yeah,
yeah, it was very different for me in that cohort thing. I did my very best. I'm not as social as you are, so that was more of I was still coming out of my shell
mm-hmm.
in a way.
Yeah, yeah. Tyler designed some pretty cool merch.
Back when AI didn't exist.
And if you see Tyler's strong muscles,
Oh my
Tyler was
goodness.
also very good at carrying lots of merchandise boxes.
It was one of my very few skills
I
in
think
that
that's the
position.
only reason you got that position. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
No, I only bring up the org from undergrad because it was something that you were very involved in.
Yeah.
And I was involved in it too. And you spent a lot of time building that thing up. Because before you were an officer, it was COVID, and a lot of things in the university kind of diminished, and involvement got real low.
Yeah.
At least I heard, because I was not around until COVID year.
Yeah.
So you kind of picked up the mantle to build the org in your year as president as much as you can. And I remember you were very professional all the time.
Oh, it was so hard.
Your hair was always combed.
Oh my gosh, I hate being professional. Not really, but yeah, no, I did. Yeah, it was, and I think it was just something that like I saw how important it was, like pre-vet society. I think it does provide a lot of really cool opportunities if you utilize it. I think it's easy to kind of push it off and just say, "Oh, I'll just put it on my resume. I won't go to any meetings." But like when you got truly involved, that's when you found a lot of really cool opportunities and met a lot of really cool people from a lot of different backgrounds. And so that was one thing that was really cool to me is like talking to people from all over the country, that went to A&M and hearing how they, grew up in vet med or just grew up in general. And so I don't know. I think there should be. I don't know. I think you said it earlier. I'm a social guy. I like talking to people, and I think in vet med, like we should be one, like we should be a team and get to know the people we work with, and I think like when you have that good relationship, like everything flows better, you work better, you're more motivated um to do good. And I don't know. I think yeah, I just saw how valuable pre-vet society was, and I really wanted to make it and bring it back because I mean Zoom was hard for anyone, like regardless of if it was pre-vet society or not. Like COVID was hard, Zoom was hard, and everyone was talking over each other and be like, ah, no, you go first, and you got it or whatever. And so like it was really awkward on Zoom. I mean, it's just it is what it is, and it was hard. And yeah, I don't know. I think I think it was just a coincidence that I came into the presidency when I did, and um, yeah, I really enjoyed my time with it as president.
I still find Zoom difficult.
Oh
I
yeah.
I'm not a Zoom person. Will avoid meetings over Zoom as
Mm-hmm.
much as possible.
Yeah.
But I remember the first time I at least saw you and recognized you was over Zoom because I think it was Dr. Blue, like pointed you out over a Zoom meeting for Pre-Vet Society when you were first a
Merchandising coordinator.
yeah, your first officer position. And she was like, "Hey, Alex, how are your classes going?" You were like, "Oh, Kim," or something like that. And I was like,
Oh, when did Dr. Blue? Was I taking her physiology course at that time? I might have been.
"Maybe,
Because you
maybe."
took it this semester after me.
Mhm.
Love
And
Dr. Blue.
yeah, she's a hoot. I had a fun time in her physiology class. And the I remember I saw you and I was like, "You are on the lacrosse team."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cuz yeah. Yeah, that's when I like first started to talk to you cuz I remember seeing you at practice with your calf sleeves on,
Those good
and
old calf
then good
sleeves.
old calf sleeves.
My God, I could not do athletics in undergrad. It
Oh,
was
that was so
so
funny.
difficult.
And then yeah, and then you interviewed and I was like, this guy's on the lacrosse team. I was like, I know this guy. So yeah.
Yeah, you played lacrosse all not all 4 years because you couldn't, but 3 years, right?
No, I did it 4 years.
Oh, it was the COVID year. They just didn't use one of your eligibility years.
Right, yeah, we had to play with masks on. That was something. I couldn't breathe as is, like, because I was out of shape, but then you put a mask on me and ugh. No, I played all 4 years. It was awesome. I loved it. I actually still technically have a year of eligibility left, so I've told Tyler and we've talked about this. I might try and play my third year of vet school. Tyler's still on the fence. I'm trying to convince him.
Oh, there's no way. I could barely do it in undergrad. My body falls apart.
Your body is in better shape than my body is. I'll tell you that right
There was a
now.
reason why I had those calf sleeves.
Yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, no, I loved it, and the team's doing pretty good. I still follow them, so I want to go to one of their games. But we've been busy every weekend. They've had games home, so um, yeah, loved it. It was a lot of fun. It was a good like de-stressor too, because just going out and I mean exercising in general is a good mental break. But going out and playing the sport that I loved and still love, I guess. But um, getting a break from whatever I was stressed about and whatnot, and just going out there and playing lacrosse with my friends. It was a lot of fun, and miss it. Men's league is not the same.
I can't imagine.
I played men's league one summer. It was a lot of fun. It's just not the same. It's not as competitive, and I'm a very competitive person.
Hmm.
So like I need that outlet, and it was not like that.
I remember when I joined, it was COVID year, and I just emailed whoever was in charge, and
Mm-hmm.
not the coach, but
Those
the
guys.
yeah, um, and they're like, "Yeah, come out to practice. You don't even have to pay because there's no season. We're just practicing in masks."
Yeah,
And
and we weren't even allowed to practice at Penberthy, which is the rec fields on campus. We had to go practice, or maybe that was in the fall season. I think spring season we were able to go to Penberthy.
but they separated the fields, and like half the team was on one half,
Yeah,
and you couldn't like cross.
yeah.
It was very strange.
COVID in general was a strange time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was your second year.
That was my first year of school, so we were on spring break. I was in Florida.
When it
Um,
hit, like
yeah, when we
initially in
got
the
the
spring.
emails that are
Okay.
like, "Hey, we're not resuming classes on in person."
What was that like? Because that was high school for me, and whatever high school, like they made you go to school. You
Yeah,
paid to go to A&M, and
yeah.
they're
Well,
like,
that was
"Don't come
crazy
back."
too. Is like, well, is our tuition going to be decreased and stuff? And it wasn't. Um, but yeah, it was weird. We were on spring break, and at that time, my brother was playing lacrosse in Florida, and so that's where we were. We were visiting him. Um, and So we went and there and we were just hanging out and got that email and I was like, that's crazy. And so then actually he got an email too and he ended up driving back that same weekend. Um, and he didn't go back that semester and we didn't go back. And so it was just, I mean, all that COVID was a joke in school. I don't think I learned anything when it was in COVID.
Oh yeah, in high school, once COVID hit, like I didn't do hardly anything for
Yeah, because I
class.
was freshman year. I was still going through like my core classes, like random like Texas history classes and stuff like that. And so it was, I mean, even less motivation to do schoolwork. Um, and I think I wrote that about that in my application. I might have milked it a little too hard, and exaggerated it a little bit, but
Which who doesn't in an application essay?
yeah, for COVID. I mean, when it was like justifications for why your grades, might not be how you want them, I was like, well, COVID. I was like, I like to work in person and I couldn't. And so, um, COVID was fun though. I don't know. We had a good time.
Yeah, I was just it was the end of high school for me. So high school just ended. There was kind of there was no prom. The graduation was on a racetrack,
Ooh,
which was kind of interesting.
like a horse race
No, no,
or
no, like a
NASCAR?
NASCAR, not Formula One, but NASCAR. Um, which one is it? You
Oh,
gotta
the
come to
Texas
me later.
Speedway?
That one,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
And that shows how much NASCAR I pay attention
I
to.
watched a lot of NASCAR. I'm just kidding.
But it was very much like, okay, show up at this time. Don't be around anybody. Just sit in your chair.
That's wild.
Me and my best friend showed up in his 2014 Mustang that he put an exhaust on that was real loud. Um, way louder than it should be, and he had a giant subwoofer in the back, and we were
Mm-hmm.
just making as much noise as possible.
Mm,
What are they gonna do? Walk up to us and say, "Be quiet"? They couldn't. They had to be 6 feet away.
yeah.
So that was
That was
high
a
school
wild
mindset.
time. I'm gonna tell my grandkids one day. I'm like, yeah, I was alive back in COVID when they shut everything down.
It was very strange.
Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah. What was I doing during COVID? I don't know. I got big into working out because like everyone's like, you're gonna gain the COVID 20 or you're gonna gain the COVID like 20 pounds, and I was like, no.
Yeah,
So
20 pounds of muscle.
I
Get
might
ripped.
have. That was one of the more working out I've ever done in my life. So
Do you you're trying to work out now?
I
You're gonna
am
F45.
F45 in College Station. Yeah, 2 mornings a week. Just cause school. I mean, we've got to be up there at 8 a.m. on Monday, and then us two Tuesdays for surgery, and then Fridays. So Wednesday, Thursdays, and it could not have worked out at a worse time because I think Thursdays are cardios, which I do not like, and it is hard. But it's been good. I'm in terms of working out, I'm not disciplined on my own. So like I thrive with classes. So having someone, tell me what to do and I don't know, make sure I'm doing it and stuff versus it's just me and I take a 5 minute break in between every set and I don't really get the most out of it. And so I think classes work for me the best.
And I remember you had a somewhat of a similar mindset in undergrad because you treated lacrosse as your exercise, which it
It
is.
was. I mean, yeah, I'd burn like, I mean, close to 3,000 calories a day. I think. Maybe
Like
my Apple
overall.
Watch. Yeah, just in a day.
Okay.
Not like in a workout, but I mean, I was up there, and somehow I was still gaining weight, which is not good, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm kind of the opposite when it comes to working out. I like doing things on my own. I do not like someone telling me what to do in my set because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've spent time thinking about how to best perform a certain exercise. I don't need somebody being like, why are you doing this? And then I have to explain it. And then we have this conversation about how to do it best. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, but for me, I think you know,
See, I'm not as knowledgeable though about it like you. Like I just kind of blindly follow. And then a big thing like for me, I don't like planning the workouts because I'm a
mhm.
big like I don't like wasting my time. And so I feel like especially in studying, like I've talked about this with a lot of people, like You could sit there and study in a way that doesn't work for you, and you could do it for 3 hours, but you didn't learn or retain anything.
Hmm.
And it's kind of the same for me with working out. Like, I want to make sure I'm doing, different workouts that are working the muscles I want to be working, and I don't like planning it out like that. I don't know. I show up and they're like, "Here's what we're doing," and I'm like, "Cool." So I don't know. It takes a little stressor off me.
Fair enough. I mean, I see those people in the gym who write everything down, all their sets and
Yeah, that's
everything.
crazy to me too.
I mean, if it works for them, that's great. A lot
Yeah,
of times I don't remember what I did the
you
previous
just
whatever
black
leg
out
day. The
when you work out.
Yeah, no, I've never blacked out. Not when working out. There have been times I've seen stars and I'm like, "Oh, okay." It would be too awkward for me to just pass out in the public gym
Yeah, you
alone,
just like
hit the
you
ground.
fall. Yeah.
No, no. I have almost passed out playing my trumpet though, which is not as cool to say.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Hey, marching band is a
Yeah,
workout.
I bet it is. Especially today. It is a scorcher outside today
Mm-hmm. In
in
Texas,
March. It's wild.
yeah. But no, the I'm big on the exercise world, and I
Yeah,
try
you
and
are.
get people to do as much as possible,
I
especially
want
when
to.
things get
I
difficult.
planned out my meals for this week and
Nice.
like put them into my fitness pal.
Yeah.
So I'm eating on a deficit. We'll see how it goes.
You got to stick to it.
I
You got to
know.
stick to it.
I know. And I feel like I have been, and I don't know. I feel like I'm not seeing a difference.
It
But
takes time.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Vet school's hard because you sit all day. I mean, we are sitting in lectures all day.
And the stress doesn't help. Like anything physical.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to someone in our class about like exercising and trying to lift heavier weights, run faster, improve in whatever kind of skill we're working on. And um, now finishing up what our fourth semester through, like
Mm-hmm.
I've always had the mindset of trying to get stronger, and rarely do I ever end the semester stronger than I started it.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, well, I've been trying. Like I've been setting goals, and yeah, I don't sleep as much as I should, and that's a big issue.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest issues. And I'm eating properly, and I just feel like I
You're
should be
canned
making
chicken.
more progress. Yeah, well,
Tyler eats like a cat. Tyler eats canned chicken.
cat and a horse,
Yeah.
but the not the canned chicken for the horse, but some oatmeal for context.
Dry oatmeal,
It's
like a grain diet.
it's it's complete feed.
Tyler's gonna get laminitis.
The no, I think a big aspect of not getting to the goals, at least for me, is like stress.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's always there in the background. And
100%.
it's quite unfortunate.
Yeah. I mean, well, you learn. I mean, we learn in school. Like stress can lead to a lot of illnesses.
Hmm.
Um, and so it's like just your body producing all those hormones it doesn't normally produce, and making things worse. That I don't know. I don't want to go into all the physiology, but
It's good in the short term for like a single stressful event, but
there's good stress and
prolonged
bad stress for sure.
prolonged stresses
Yeah,
with
you don't want
school.
to get the stress leukopenia.
The I don't know how to best deal with stress in school. Usually I'm the type of person to just keep working,
Mm-hmm.
and there are times that doesn't
Just push
work
it
out.
deep, deep down and never address it,
Yeah, the therapists of the
and then
world are
die
going
of
to
a
be
heart attack 50
very
years later.
angry if I say that. How do you
Yeah.
deal with stress?
So mine's a little different, I think, than a lot of people. I kind of push it off almost. And so, like, if I'm super stressed about a test, I find that if I get really stressed about it, I need to go and stop doing it for a little bit. And so, like, I will go shoot my bow at the archery range. I'll go fish in our neighborhood pond. I'll go do something that I like to do for like an hour. Give my brain a break, calm down, and I'll reassess it. And I think that helps me a lot. And I don't think it helps a lot of people. And I think it's just one thing that works for me. But I feel like when I'm in a good mental headspace, that's when I'm the most productive. And that's when I'm, doing the best, studying and learning and retaining the information. If I'm sitting there stressed about it, I'm just trying to read, it doesn't, I mean, I just think about how I'm stressed. And so I think getting away from it and resetting is very helpful for me.
Almost like the stress is distracting you from the thing that is stressing you out.
Exactly. Exactly. And so that's just, I don't know. Yeah. I've kind of told that to a lot of people too. And I think it works for some people and I think it doesn't work for others.
Yeah, I would say that that wouldn't work for me just in the way I go about things because if I try and relax to de-stress, I will only think about the thing that is stressing me.
Yeah.
So it's almost like the opposite. I need to get whatever that is done.
Yeah.
And the only thing that would work is going to the gym because it's
Mhm.
something I see that I need to do almost every day.
Yeah.
So it's like that is also somewhat of a source of stress being like I haven't gone to the gym today and I still need to do it along with all these other things. Like when am I going to be able to do this? And if I go and just get it done, then I'm like, "Oh, now I'm ready to do other things."
Yeah.
And it's checked off I checked that box off my list
Yeah.
and I'm good
Yeah,
to
even
go.
just doing a little tick mark through a box can relieve a lot of stress. So do you work out for mental health reasons, or is it more so like you just want to be healthy, or is it something like aesthetically or confidence, or I don't know. I don't like
uh
what drives your passion for exercising and working out.
would say all but the last one.
Okay.
Um the No, mentally, I do think that exercise is very good for mental health,
Mhm.
and I'm no expert in mental health, but
Mhm.
the other than my own personal experiences, the I think moving your body, keeping your body busy can relieve you from having a busy mind
Yeah.
sometimes. And having a busy mind is good again, kind of like stress
Mhm.
when in short terms,
Yeah.
but if that's constant,
Yeah.
then it your brain gets tired
Mhm.
and it just is like an engine running but running in place.
Yeah.
And I think that taking a break and intentionally working out, which kind of it can be mentally taxing in a way. I know when I lift weights, especially free weights, I am thinking about what I'm doing because you don't want to go and do it and then hurt yourself.
Mhm.
um and free weights in particular because there's a lot of ways that you can hurt yourself.
Yeah.
And back in high school, I did spend many hours just in my little garage gym looking at videos and actually like thinking through things and trying to find the best way to do things
Yeah.
because I was a little high schooler, like, how do I work out?
Mhm.
And because I didn't know anything at all about it. And now, like, it's kind of in the back of my mind.
Mhm.
Earlier, you said you don't like planning workouts. I'm okay doing it like on my own.
Yeah.
I can walk into the gym. I'm like, okay, today's chest and tries. So I'm gonna do this thing first for
Mhm.
X reasons, and then I'll move over to these machines, and then I'll end it with some kind of cable, whatever. And there's a number of reasons why I do things in a certain order, and a number of sets and reps within each set on certain machines and at certain weights, and then I'll pick certain machines over other machines depending on one what I did the last time I did that certain part of my workout split and what I think best completes that muscle group compared to the other machines I have in that workout, if that makes any sense. Um, that probably doesn't.
It does. I was
Uh,
following.
the, anyways, all that to say, I'm like comfortable walking in being like, yeah, I can plan my own workout
Yeah.
for now. And is it the 100% most optimal thing in the world? No, but it's what I found to work best for me. And so, I guess to answer your question, like it's mental and physical well being for me.
Mhm.
The looking good vanity part, nah, not so much. I'd really try not to walk in that world.
Yeah, because
Um,
you can go down a rabbit hole pretty
yeah,
quick.
the gym world has a lot of that,
Yeah.
and for good or bad, like a lot of people get into working out because they want to I guess, look better, which
Yeah.
logically makes sense and it's very understandable. But I remember early in high school when I was looking at a lot of videos and me in my early workout stages was like, how do I do these things quickly? Like,
Mhm.
there's a lot of 10-minute ab workouts,
Yeah.
or 10 minutes to get abs, like, which is not how that works. And usually it's not a exercise issue, it's a diet issue for
Right.
that particular thing. And but I was like, oh, if I can do it quickly, like that would be great. And I've stumbled upon a number of videos like, hey, whatever works for you getting into the gym works. Like if you just want to like for guys like pick up girls, like then that's a good reason. I'm like, it's good in the initial aspect of you getting into the gym and like being healthier.
Yeah.
Then it can be fall off into, you're focusing on certain aspects of life, and then even running into the question of taking steroids and like not improving your health through the aspect of working out.
Mhm.
Um, and for me, I was like, I'm just not going to focus on that
Yeah.
um, at all, and just keep in mind the physical and mental improvements of it.
Yeah.
Um, but
I
yeah,
think it's good.
that was a
Yeah.
long-winded answer.
Hey, it's your answer.
I think I brought up working out in every podcast I've done.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I don't know.
I'm not a
It's a diverse podcast. You can talk about vet med and working out.
yeah,
Not a
yeah,
lot of podcasts do that.
yeah. It's very definitely unique. What about you? I Yeah. Did I already ask you why you work out?
Why I work out? No, I mean, so mine, I think it's kind of all three. Like mental health for sure. Like I notice a difference in mine when I am working out versus when I'm not. And then physical, I guess health is important. Obviously, like I would like to live a long, happy life. And so, making sure I'm healthy. Excuse me. And then physical, or like just aesthetically. I just want to look like I work out. I don't feel like I do right now. And I don't need to have like I don't know, I don't need to be huge like you. I don't
I'm not that big. Don't.
dude, you're big. I don't need like a rock hard six pack. I don't know. I don't need any of that. I just want to look like I work out, and I want to look good for my girlfriend. I want her to, continue to find me attractive, and I don't want to let myself go and, you know, not be the same person that she fell in love with and whatnot. So,
That's fair.
I don't know. I want to strive to continue to impress her, you know, for as long as, we're together.
I feel like that's a good thing to have for a long-lasting, healthy relationship is being like staying on top of yourself, being like,
Mhm.
okay, I want to be the best that I can be
Yeah.
for that individual.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So, yeah. And I want to be, a fit dad. I want to look good, but I want to feel good too. So, it's kind of all of them.
Hmm. Well, we kind of talked about where you came from, where you want to go.
Cotton Eye Joe. Ah, God, I couldn't miss that one.
I didn't do that on purpose. The What do you do? You kind of already talked about what you do outside of vet school.
I
What
could talk more about it. I could always talk more about that.
you you go hunting a lot.
I do. Yeah.
I don't. Tell me about that.
Ah, okay. So, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, I grew up deer hunting and pig hunting up in North Texas. My uncle has a cattle farm, and honestly, I think that's kind of where my love for vet med came into part too. We'd go up there to go hunt, and then he'd need to work cows, and when I was young, he'd let me put an ear tag in or do something small, and I think that really sparked my interest in large animals. Um, but grew up deer hunting, pig hunting. Recently got into duck hunting. I would say within the past 2 or 3 years. It's been rough seasons. Um, and then found a really nice cattle farmer around here that was kind enough to let me and a couple of our vet school friends hunt his big pond he's got on his property, and we're very grateful for him. Had some fun hunts. Um, just went on an exotic black buck hunt over spring break, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, never gone on one of them before. That was cool. And it is, I'll preface, or not, I guess not preface, follow up with a lot of people always ask me, how can you be a hunter and be in vet med? And it's a lot more common than I think people would think. I think as a hunter, I gain this appreciation for the animals, and I think it's more of an like I am mesmerized, like by axis deer. Like they are so fascinating, and whitetail deer as well, and turkeys, and you just gain such a knowledge and an understanding of what makes them do the things they do, and it's more of I enjoy learning about them than I actually do hunting them. I think I've switched from rifle hunting to bow hunting recently, I guess in COVID, but because I wanted to get that more of a feel like I am closer with that animal and I am, it's more challenging for myself and it's more of a fair game, I think essentially. Um, but I don't know, like ever since I got into duck hunting, I've told my girlfriend I might become a bird watcher. Like when I am older, like I mean they fascinate me. Like just I could be sitting there sunrise, like cold crisp morning, and have 100 ducks working into the pond and not shoot a single one. And I think it would be the best morning ever. Like we had one of those. I was hunting with Carson and Matt and Zach and guys in our vet school class. Um, and I mean, they landed on the other side of the pond. We didn't get any shots at them, but like I was like, this is still awesome. And at that point, I always like to make the joke we're bird watching adjacent at that point, um, and just because we're not shooting. But yeah, I mean, I've as I've aged, I've definitely found the beauty in the outdoors, and I've started, trying to take pictures and really find it and be able to capture it for people. And I don't know, I really enjoy it. I just like being outside, and I think that's my happy place. And I didn't realize how much I missed like growing up on the coast until I went back home for spring break and got to go fishing with one of my good buddies, and love being on the water too. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you brought up a good point. A lot of people are, I guess, confused or interested in the fact that people in the veterinary world, people who want to help animals be healthier
Right.
or treat them in some capacity,
Mm-hmm.
that they would also like hunting.
Right.
And I kind of equate it to uh, livestock
Mm-hmm.
and the food production world,
Okay.
and in the fact that one, the people who are doing it like are most interested in these animals, like compared to the
Mm-hmm.
other, like take the average person in the world, and it's like the people who are hunting and in agriculture are most interested in those animals because they are doing what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, like back when I was growing up, I didn't hunt at all. I
Mm-hmm.
was up in the DFW area.
Yeah.
Also didn't fish. I fished somewhat, nothing too like important, but
Mm-hmm.
the that world I was just like, huh, well that's interesting, but I
Yeah.
don't do it. And
Mm-hmm.
so I could have opinions on it, but I'm
Yeah.
not doing the thing.
Yeah.
So I think the people in that world um kind of have the I think the biggest say on how those animals like should be, I guess, handled. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of conservation that goes with hunting.
It is. And so Steven, there's a Meat Eater is a company that I follow closely, and their I guess owner or I guess main spokesman. His name's Steven Ranella, and he has a lot of very good interviews like with animal rights activists, and it's really impressive because I mean you gain such an understanding and appreciation of the animal more so than the average person will just through hunting. You learn all about them, what makes them do certain things, and why they're important. But also, like, I mean, buying, your hunting license or your fishing license, all that money goes back into conservation. And it is conserving the species, making sure their habitat stays the way it should. Um, and just a bunch of different conservation efforts that can go to prolonging these species or like these lives and making sure that we are able to, hunt these species and as we go later down the road and I think there's a lot of it's a misunderstood industry. I think a lot of the time, maybe it's not, maybe it is, but there's a lot that you learn and appreciate by being out there in their element and yeah, and seeing what they do.
How does the exotic medicine part of you like fit with the hunting part? Like, how do those worlds meet? Because I know that the short time I was in South Africa, there's a lot of um, conservation and the management of it's not exotic for them, but their wildlife
Right. Yeah, yeah.
is also something that people hunt and are
Mhm.
interested in hunting, at least in the U.S. And how does that kind of come together in your world?
So I think it started with the interest in hunting. I think that kind of is what stimulated it. When I noticed or figured out and learned that, this was even a possibility of vet med, like going and doing these darting trips and doing this research study, like I was so infatuated with it. Like being able to get that close and hands on with these animals is insane and it's so cool to me. And I feel like a little kid every time I get to do it. But I think also like it kind of meets like the hunting aspect because a lot of these places they are free range to an extent. I guess not on the high fence ranches, but if you do it in like I mean up in Wyoming, the company we work for, they'd work with wild mule deer and they go up and I mean you've got to get within 50 yards of a mule deer to shoot them with this dart gun because it's not as powerful as like a rifle. And so you can't shoot them from 200 yards away. There's a certain aspect of sportsmanship that goes into it. Like you've got to put a stalk on this animal and get within a certain amount. You've got to play the wind. You've got to, be cautious about how loud you are, how much you're moving. All those things go into it. So it is essentially kind of like a hunt. And there is a thing. It's called green hunting, and it is big in Africa, and some people in Texas do it as well. But it kind of is essentially what we're doing. I mean, it's people go out with tranquilizer guns and they shoot these animals. They take pictures with them, and then the animal gets up and goes. And it is a foreign concept that I had no idea even existed, and I was interested to learn about it. But so
Huh.
there is still a sportsmanship that goes into it. Um, and I think that's kind of where it meets. And then also, I mean, getting to learn more about how these animals work is so fascinating, and it's very unknown. There's a lot of things that we still don't know about these animals, and being able to contribute to that, and I don't know, kind of put my mark on it a little bit is really cool.
The green hunting. How
Yeah,
much do you know about that?
not a lot.
Okay.
So I know a guy I worked with. He used to guide hunts, and they were green hunts, and I mean, he said people would pay quite a bit of money to go and you just dart these animals and then um, take your picture and they wake back up. I think it's very big in Africa, more so with like rhinoceroses.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's the plural.
Let's go with it.
Rhinos. We'll do rhinos. Let's go
Rhinos.
with rhinos. Um, because a lot of people, I mean, just want to be able to have that experience to get hands on those animals. I mean, they are just crazy, but I mean, people do it. I don't really know a whole lot about it,
Okay.
so I can't really speak to it.
Because
I guess on an official. I just know it's a thing.
I wonder what the legality is.
Right, and that's what I don't know is if you have to do some type of medical treatment for that at some point.
And also, like a veterinarian has, or
Uh,
do they have to be overseeing the person darting?
I would imagine there's definitely an involvement with a veterinarian. There's got
Okay.
to be some sort of whether it's prescribing the medication or if it is physically being there overseeing the entire thing. I don't know.
Hmm. Okay. I mean, that's the first time I've ever heard about that.
I know I was shocked. It's interesting.
Yeah, I could see how that with rhinos, with
Yeah.
my small experience with rhinos, it doesn't seem like something too crazy to hunt, other than the fact that they could turn and charge you. I think that's
Right.
scary,
Yeah.
but they're not the fastest animal in the world.
So I almost wonder too if there's an aspect of people go and they do these green hunts and they take their pictures and they post them, but they don't tell other people they green hunted it. And they're like, look at this rhino I got or
That would be
whatever.
crazy for a rhino,
And I
because there's
feel
a lot of
like,
negative connotation
yeah,
with
I
hunting a
know. But
rhino.
maybe for other stuff too. But I wonder, I don't know all of the logistics of it.
Yeah, if you like when Green hunted a kudu,
Yeah.
and because those are, I think they look really cool.
Oh, they're awesome.
So I don't know. That's interesting. Um, hmm.
Yeah. If you ever want to go hunting with us,
Yeah,
I've told you
you've
before
offered.
too, but
Maybe one day. Um,
it's fun to just come sit and watch too. Like I could have such a great day if I'm just sitting there watching and not even doing anything.
hmm. I can see the appeal. And I do want to at some point. It's just I don't know. I don't have that strong of a drive right now to
It's fair.
go out there.
Not that mad at him. That's what people say. You're not actually mad at him, but that's just a saying.
Yeah, you guys hit me a bunch with the Hunter Fisher quotes, and I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
Who was it? Was it you or Zach that was like, why when geese are flying, they're in a triangle, why is one longer than the other?
Oh yeah, yeah. So that joke, it's Dr. Cook's joke. He's the one that told it to us. I'm sure he didn't invent the joke, but it's like why you know how geese fly in a V, right? And sometimes there's one side that's longer than the other. Do you know why that is? And then people will commonly say aerodynamics. No. The answer is because there's more geese on that side. And,
Hilarious.
Yep, it's a good
Best
one.
joke.
It's a good one.
No, I kind of take my licks with y'all of being the city kid that doesn't know anything about hunting.
You're not the only one though.
I know.
And Will was I just outed Will. Will was the same way when we started. Will didn't know a whole lot, but now he does.
Oh, he knows way more than I do.
Yeah. And so like there's a lot of people I know that didn't grow up doing it and now they do it and they love it and so like there's no shame in that.
It would be really cool to do like a week-long expedition up in the mountains and like find an elk.
It's on my bucket list.
That
It scares me though, cuz like I didn't grow up doing Boy Scouts or anything. And so like I'm like what if I get trapped in the mountains and I don't know what to do? And then it's like
you're gonna find your way
I
out.
have to drink my own pee or something.
Don't do that.
I'm just kidding. Bear Grylls style. I watched a lot of Naked and Afraid as a kid, so I feel like I could do it.
No, I don't know if I'm embarrassed to say, but I was a Boy Scout.
You were.
I'm not embarrassed.
Weren't you an Eagle Scout?
I am an Eagle Scout.
You are.
Yeah. You never
I
stop
am
being
an Eagle Scout.
My goodness, I am not that involved in it. I don't do anything nowadays. But
you don't go rub sticks together and start a fire?
Nah, not unless I'm really bored. But no, there were some cool aspects of that.
I wish I did it. Looking back, I wish I did it.
There's a lot more paperwork than you would think.
Paperwork?
Oh yeah, at least in the troop that I was in, every merit badge that you earn, you got to essentially fill out a packet of paperwork because you're learning. That's how you get it. You learn, you write answers down, and you submit it, and they got to grade it. And then they're like, okay, you earned it. Here you go. And some were a lot more than others.
I feel like I wouldn't chase badges. I would just be out there, just in the woods, climbing trees and
that's what I did.
Stuff, yeah.
There were three. I'm gonna mess up explaining this, but like three major camping expeditions that you can do, and I did them all because they're pretty cool. They're long durations. I think I'm gonna mess up the time frame, like 9 to 10 days long.
Jeez.
The one of them is called Northern Tier, probably my favorite because you essentially take around canoes and all the food and all the camping supply for the entire length of time. I might have gotten that time frame wrong, the 9 to 10 days. It's been a very long time, but it's at least a week. And you're just out there in the northern part of U.S. on the border of Canada, in these massive rivers and lakes.
That's cool.
And I mean, the first day we canoed like 15 miles and to find a spot, set up camp, and then pack it all up
about grizzly
the next
bears?
Morning. Nope, didn't see any.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
good. That's ideal.
We did have bear spray.
Okay, that was y'all's. Okay.
Yeah, and every night we would have a bear bag.
Tie it up,
Mm-hmm.
put it in a
Like,
tree.
high up. And so if a bear did come by, they tore that up and not our tents.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's as hard. It's not like the most hardcore thing in the world. We're just a bunch of kids. It was like 4 or 5 kids a couple of dads, and then a guide for that one. He stayed with us the entire time because we quite literally were out in the middle of nowhere.
That's nice. Yeah.
If something were to go wrong, it would take quite a while for a helicopter to come find us.
Yeah, that'd be scary.
Yeah, I mean it was fine. There were some cool parts, like one small river had a bunch of leeches in it, so had to be a
Mm.
little careful about that one.
Did you put them on each other for fun?
No.
Oh, darn.
um no, the year we went was actually postponed because the year that we planned on going, there was a big storm, and it kind of just tore up the whole camp. Um, and when we eventually get went, like it is just nature. They didn't go and clean up things unless they very much had to, and
Mm.
so we came across giant trees just in the middle of trails. And we're
Mm.
like, your canoe above your head, and like, oh, what do I do? Throw it? Like, I don't know. Um, no, but that was the part of Boy Scouts that I like. So I do eventually one day with hunting. I want to go out backpacking in the middle of nowhere
Yeah.
and
You
find
could be
something.
my pack mule.
Yay!
You
That
could just
sounds like
carry
so
all
much
this stuff.
fun. Just
You're so
lifting.
strong.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you even do on a hunt like that? Giant animal. Pack it out.
You do. So it depends. A lot of people will try and kill them close to the trail as possible, and then you just either pull your buggy up or whatever, your truck up. But some people, I mean, kill them 2 or 3 miles back there, and you've got to pack them up piece by piece. And sometimes I mean, you fill your pack as much as you can, and then if you can't fit anymore, you got to make your trip back.
Hmm.
So it's a lot. Some people will call friends and be like, "Hey, I'll give you some of this elk meat if you help me come pack this thing out."
It's that worth it to get out of there.
Some people, yeah, yeah, I would say it's good.
Hmm. I've only heard like hardcore stories of like people going out in the middle of nowhere, and they they find something, and then they kill it, and they're trying to pack it out, but then like a grizzly bear claims
Right,
it
claims the
afterwards.
carcass when they're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it scares me.
Hmm.
Sorry.
You haven't been on any hardcore hunts like that?
No, no, nothing like that. Just in Texas.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
Well, not to like switch the subject on you.
you switch it.
Vet school, pros, cons. What is your mindset right now?
Oh, pros. There's lots of pros. It's fun. I'm learning a lot. Kind of have to do it to be a vet.
Yeah, there's a whole license thing about it.
Yeah. Um, pros right now, I mean, like the research program that we're doing, I think is definitely one of the pros. Getting to do some really cool hands-on field work with wildlife has been really fun recently and something I really enjoyed. Um, I guess that's. I mean, I could find pros all day long, but cons are going to be harder to think about. Cons, I mean, just being in school. I mean, that's like normal. Not making money.
Are you not a school person? Like a lot of people really love just being in school and learning all day.
I kind of do. Like I feel like I'm bettering myself and I feel like I'm learning more and working towards, the end goal that I've wanted for as long as I was a kid, which is being a vet. And so like yeah, there's that aspect and I enjoy it. And then it really honestly for the past what has it been like 17 or 18 years, like that's all I've known is school, you know. So I like it. Yeah, but I mean sitting through lectures all day can get kind of long. Um Cons, I mean, not making money, but
But you'll make money.
yeah, we will. I mean, but like I see like boats on Facebook Marketplace, and I'm like, I want a boat, and I'm like, but you can't buy it. So um, maybe that won't change in real life either. But um, I don't know. There's not a whole lot of cons. I really am grateful. There's some quotes that I've seen, and they're all kind of along the same lines. But it's like, how blessed are you to be stressed by the thing you prayed for, or like you dreamt of. And so it's like, yeah, you're stressed with school and you're stressed about tests, but like there's a lot of people that would really like to be in your spot. And so like we are so lucky, to be here and to be in vet school and to be stressed by doing the things we love. And so I think it's a perspective thing. I don't like to think about cons.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
Optimistic.
I don't know. I think it like my mental health. Like you could a quote I heard. I got a lot of quotes today, I guess, but um, there's a man and he's like there's a I can't exactly remember how it goes, but something about like you've got a happy wolf and a bad wolf, and it's like they're fighting inside of you every day, and it's like which wolf wins, and it's like whichever one I feed, and so it's like, you could constantly go through your day trying to focus on the negatives. And I know this was just a pros and cons of vet school question, but this is going beyond. But you could constantly focus on the negatives all day. But if you're optimistic, like you're going to, have the good wolf, you're going to be, in a good mood and whatnot. But cons, I don't know. Studying for tests. I can't be fishing. I can't be hunting.
Yeah, it's not the most glamorous lifestyle for a
No,
while. It's
no, it's not. But I mean, it is. It's what you got to do. It is what it is.
Yeah, and they always say it's like a fire hose of learning the entire time,
Mm-hmm.
which is like it is and it's not. I know sometimes it feels like I'm just overwhelmed, and other times I'm like, this is pretty interesting. I can think about this for an extended period of time
Right.
and kind of plan those thoughts. But no, I think practicing the good mindset, feeding
Mm-hmm.
that good wolf, as you'd say,
Mm-hmm.
is a good practice because I think whatever you do constantly, or I guess a better way to put it, whatever you do reinforces the things that you will do next.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just look at the negative and have a pessimistic mindset, then you're just gonna start to see all the negatives.
Right.
And I mean, it gets real stressful at times for a
It
lot of
does.
people.
It does.
So,
And so if you constantly focus on the things that are negative, I mean, it's just going to be negative.
hmm
It's real easy to find the negatives, I think, if you want to.
yeah, yeah.
What are your pros and cons of vet school?
I think you might be the only person who's asked me so far.
Well, you're in this podcast too, Tyler.
I would say a pro is very comprehensive in the fact that they bring in a lot of different animals. Obviously, we need to know about all kinds of animals, and not only because we will be licensed to work on all the animals, but
Mm-hmm.
because we have a big exam at the end called the NABLE that
Oh,
will
that's what that is.
that will test us on all the animals. So
Yeah.
in order to be a vet, you need to know about all the animals.
Yeah.
But no, there's a lot of people who are interested in animals that I am not, and I think it's really cool that they get the opportunity to learn about things that I am not interested in.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times I'll be like, I'm not going to use this in 10 years. Like,
Horses.
I was going to say, like, don't get me wrong. I have worked with horses and both trying to get into vet school and through vet school. Um, they're actually pretty cool in a
They're
lot of
really cool
ways.
animals. I
Uh,
just don't ever want to work on them.
well, I personally like I don't have any ties to horses. I don't really want to own a horse in the future. If
Yeah.
I came across it within my life, if I'm the owner of a horse, I wouldn't be upset. But it's not something I seek
I
out
would own a
doing.
horse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably more of a donkey, though. I'd rather like a donkey.
Um, why a donkey? What would you do with a donkey?
Whatever you want. Maybe a mule. I don't know. Sorry, we're getting off track. I didn't take my ADHD medicine today.
It's all good. Um, the well, great. Now what were we talking about?
Um, you don't
Oh,
like
species.
horses.
So the there's a lot of people in vet school who are very much only going to be doing horses
Mm-hmm.
or have the door open and the possibility still there of them working on horses in the future. And I think that, having professors that are constantly like, you might be set in this one thing in life,
Mm-hmm.
but keep this in mind too, because
Yeah.
that's what they're interested in. And another pro I would say is a lot of the professors just really like what they do. And so
Yeah.
when they're teaching, they're like, look, this is what I do. And it's super cool, at
Yeah.
least to me.
I agree.
And for the subjects that you might not be so good at or not very interested in, it makes it a lot better
It
when
does.
the professor is very much interested in it.
Our staff is awesome. All of our professors are amazing.
They work really hard,
Yeah. A
and
lot of them are doing clinics and teaching a class at the same time.
sometimes research.
Yeah.
And I remember for our research and discovery class,
Mm-hmm.
one of the electives I took last semester, we had every week someone from the hospital or someone doing research outside of the hospital would come in and talk about the research primarily, and then everything else they do. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the times they're like, "Yeah, I teach, and then I do clinics, and then I do research, and you know, I have this contract, whatever, blah blah blah. It's like this percentage for all three categories or whatever." And then they're like, "Yeah, but I really just do as much as I can for all of those as much as
Yeah.
possible because people only have so much time."
Yeah.
But no, the they work really hard, a lot harder than I think I can imagine, because well, I think only they can speak on their efforts and what they
Mm-hmm.
do. But no, I think that there's a lot of pros. If I had to choose some cons.
You don't get to come work out at my garage every morning now.
Oh, not anymore. Yeah, I know. I will miss the days of you walking out going to class on days that, well, no, you would just be coming back from
I would be coming
F45.
back from F45.
Yeah. Hmm.
Anyways, sorry.
um, I would say that the cons with vet school, I don't think are unique to vet school.
Okay.
I think they are shared with other things that are difficult within education and then anything difficult in general.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about quotes? I have a number of quotes too. Do you know who Alex Hermosi is?
Nope.
Oh, he's a guy who has your name, but
He
the at least
does.
the first one. But he is kind of like a finance business
Oh,
slash maybe
maybe
fitness
that's bad.
bro.
I shouldn't. I should probably know him then.
Oh, it's okay. He's kind of like a internet finance guy. Um, I don't really follow him that much, but there's something that he said, or at least a story that he shared at one point, where he was going through something difficult with a group of people, and he was in charge, and the people were kind of getting a little hesitant with the activity that they were doing, whatever it was. It was just difficult to do, and he was like, "Well, who thought this was going to be easy? Like, raise your hand." And no one raised their hand. He's like, "Who thought this was going to be difficult? Who thought it was going to be hard?" And
Mm-hmm.
everybody raised their hand. And he's like, "Cool. This is what hard feels like." And it kind of like set them in the right mindset. He's like, "Here you go." He's like, "Vet school is not easy. It is quite difficult a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
times. Um, you are going to enjoy it in a lot of ways, but when it gets difficult, you need to remind yourselves like, okay, this is what I expected."
Yeah.
And that kind of like panic of why is this so difficult at this particular moment kind of goes away,
Mm-hmm.
and you just live in it.
Yeah. It becomes your new normal. It does, and that's the thing I tell a lot of people too. I mean, it was what I was told when I was going into undergrad. Coming out of high school, it's like, yes, it's going to be very different, but it will become your new normal, and you will not think it's difficult. Or, I mean, not that you won't think it's difficult. You will not see it as some foreign life. It will be your life, and it will be, just a part of your life.
Yeah, and I think everything building on itself in vet school, at least at A&M, like they bring up topics that we've talked about in every semester
Mm-hmm.
previously, and so things aren't inherently new.
Yeah, that
It's
helps a lot.
yeah, you just kind of get more in depth, and it reinforces the things that you do.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there's a lot of times that we'll be relearning the physiology of something, and I'm like I want to do something else.
Yeah.
Like, and
Physiology is hard.
yeah, especially when you have an exam on a completely different topic, like in 2 days, and you guys are like we're all going over things that are going to be important, like in general, and then we're going to have an exam on in a couple weeks. But right now, my mind is not focused on that.
Yeah, studying test to test is how I'm getting by.
Everyone says not to do it.
I don't see a way you don't do it.
I
I
would
don't.
I would say, because it's funny, I see everyone recommend like don't study test to test, and then I see them turn around and that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's hard not to. I would say my mindset of it is to prevent yourself from studying test to test early on in the semester, because it'll kind of give you a false sense of peace, when in
Mm,
reality you should like we have 3 weeks of no exams, and then
yeah.
exams start going on. And so some like that first exam, sure, it's 3 weeks of material, not that hard to get through,
Mhm.
compared to the last exam in that run
Mhm.
of first
Yeah.
exams, where it is now maybe 6 weeks of
Yeah.
material,
Yeah.
and you got to get through it after studying another exam
Mhm.
maybe 4 days before, and you're probably tired from that, but you got to still keep going. So
Yeah.
the I approach the beginning of each semester like, okay, I am going to try and be proactive and study all the subjects as much as I can, and look towards the future and help out future Tyler and make sure that he's not cramming it the few days before.
I don't lie to myself like that. Yeah.
It does creep in though. This class isn't going to have an exam for another 3 or 4 weeks, so I'm going to focus on these other ones.
The worst is when you have a lecture like the day before, like on a Thursday. Like we have a lecture, say, for like DI, diagnostic imaging. And that lecture on Thursday before the exam on Friday is over material that is not going to be on the exam on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's hard because you're like, well, why do I need more diagnostic imaging in my brain when I already have to study for the test that's tomorrow? So
Mm-hmm.
those are hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I Yeah, I have nothing else to say on that.
Yeah, it's fun being like, in orientation and hearing people say like, "Oh, don't study test to test." Like, Dr. Hoffman's lecture
Oh
or
yeah.
his presentation, the drinking through a fire hose.
Yeah, yeah, I hope he's still giving that
He
presentation each.
is.
Okay.
He is. Yeah. Um, but I mean, it's just this crazy. It's a schedule that is the ideal schedule for studying your first year. It is not necessarily the most feasible schedule for studying. Everyone is different, but yeah. And then he's like, "You shouldn't be studying test to test." And then some of the older white coats are like, "I study test to test, and
Like
I'm
the
fine."
the students.
Yeah, like the second year, third years that are talking to the new incoming first years. Yeah.
Yeah. The Man, I do wish that I could be proactive enough and stay on that schedule the entire semester. I feel like
Yeah, but then you don't have fun. Then you're just studying all the time.
there
Like we got St. Patrick's Day on Tuesday.
we do. I didn't know
Yes.
that.
Yes.
It's good to know.
So we should, maybe study a little bit harder on Monday so we don't have to study on Tuesday.
Yeah, there's some green beer that needs to be drinking.
Yes. Do you remember that one year we got the beer in the green food dye and we put way too much green food dye?
No, I don't remember. I wasn't there, I
Oh,
don't think.
I thought you were.
Probably
It was
not.
at my house.
I
I
don't
don't
think I
know.
was there.
But a dab of green food coloring goes a lot longer, a lot farther than you think it
Just a
does.
drop in each glass, and you're like, that's
No,
really
I think we
dark.
put like 4 or 5, but I mean it was
Oh,
dark. It was bad.
is that your first time using food coloring?
Yes.
Oh,
Probably. Yeah.
the golden rule with that is you always start with one or two, and then you can always add more.
Yeah. We added too much. That was fun.
Hmm.
So,
Well, we've been going for about 2 hours now.
dang. Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Time flies when you're having fun. Back in my old bedroom.
Yeah. Was this fun?
Yeah. I had a good time.
You got any
I
parting
just hope
thoughts?
people
Oh,
don't think I'm annoying.
if they thought you were annoying, they'd probably pause and.
Yeah, you're right. You're probably not here if you think I was annoying.
Yeah, I think I was talking to my parents when I brought up this idea of starting a podcast, and they're
Mm-hmm.
like, it was kind of foreign to them. I don't think they listen to podcasts,
Yeah.
and they were like, who would listen to people talking for 2 or 3 hours? And I was like, well, you can stop
Yeah.
And two, if you get 10 minutes in and you don't like it, you just
You
don't
just
have
go
to
to a
listen to
different
it.
podcast, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But if you're here now, we appreciate you.
Any parting thoughts?
Um, like I'm trying to think of some super wise thing to say,
You said
but
some wise things.
yeah, I mean, like, don't give up. You know, if you get knocked down, get back up. These are all cliche things, but like, yeah, vet school is awesome. The veterinary world is awesome. It is a hard path. It is a rewarding path, and it is something that I think a lot of people, if they are interested, should pursue. Do not get discouraged if you get knocked down. Get back up, keep pushing. Um, do you know who Cameron Haynes is?
Oh yeah.
Keep hammering.
Is that his quote or
Yeah,
his like catchphrase?
I think so. Catchphrase.
That's awesome.
Yeah, keep hammering, I think is what it is. But yeah, no, I mean, keep working, chase your dreams. People, I shouldn't be giving advice. I'm trying to do some great thing, and it's just I'm just a regular guy.
It's okay.
Vet school's fun. Do it. Come to A&M. Come meet Tyler and I. Come see Tyler's muscles.
Okay, that's no. Don't make me feel weird. Um well, cool. Alex Sansom, thank you very much.
You're welcome, Tyler Dessen.
Did I say it right?
You did.
Awesome.
Yeah, I didn't even. Yeah.
Sick. It only took 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. Nah, I've been called worse.
All right. Thanks y'all for listening.
Peace.